What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. So as with every single new patch, I've spent a ton of time looking at career and finding some new picks that are doing a lot better since the new patch, which hopefully should give us a little head start on the new meta. Xin is going to be the first one today. We're getting started straight away. It's really this new build that's doing it though. The further buffs definitely helped and stuff, right? Like, even more with Xin actually, because you have your Q auto reset, your W attack speed. Like, you only need 4 auto attacks anyway to stack to fully on a further, and you get that so fast. The build is Blood Razor and Trinity Force though. You can replace it with the blade, I guess, if you wanted less burst damage and a bit more lifesteal, a bit more sustained damage. The thing is with the Trinity though, attack speed is more crits and heals from his kit, right? It's more percentage damage as well with your Blood Razor. The Sheen is a ton of burst, and the cooldown reduction is a faster Q and W again. If you go Trinity, you only need 2 damage items, honestly. You go Visage after, which is more healing every 3 hits. Deadman's after that. Be a Bruiser who kills everybody, but you just don't die. Your damage with that build, with just Trinity, is going to be similar to like a Master Yi and stuff. It works kind of the same way, but you're just way more well-rounded. The other option is like Blood Razor and Blade and Rage Blade and stuff. Like, that's really good on him, but only if you have on hit from the Blade and Blood Razor, in my opinion. It's very ham, like all in, but if you're left alone, you absolutely crush people. Right now, over in Korean, I just think in general, he is the best late game jungler at the moment. Like, you have healing, you have the crits, you have an excellent kit for auto-based damage. You're super easy to play as well. Like, I compared to Master Yi before, right? But with a bit more to him, you need a bit more of a brain, I guess. You're more useful in team fights as well. Matchup-wise, in Korea, he's beating every single jungler except Shaco at the moment. So Xin needs a bit of time to do damage, right? And Shaco is a burst champion. The reason he's so good right now though is because the lethality nerfs mean that Kha'Zix and Rengar and stuff can't really burst him hard enough anymore, so Xin actually gets his damage off. But Shaco is like the exception. Before we move on to the second one, I just very quickly want to mention Ezreal. So Korea has a major hard-on for Ezreal. Ever since this blue build kind of came out, they have been spamming it over and over every single patch, regardless of if he's good or bad, they still play it. The thing is, right now Ezreal actually is very good, so Korea is kind of in heaven. In 60% of games, Ezreal is played as the AD carry, which is pretty ridiculous. To have a 60% pick rate is almost unheard of, but this is just Korean Ezreal. The point I want to make though is I'm not really going to go into it, but it is like Man Immune, Triforce, and Blade the Ruined King as the first 3 items, with Fervor and Ninja Tabi. That is really good. He's really seen as the kind of mid-game AD carry. Like, he is okay late game, but not amazing. It's really the middle portion of the game where Korea takes off, and that is where they kind of try to outplay everybody in these early kind of skirmish team fights, and where they're really strong. I'm not going to go into it more than that because this video is for newer picks coming up, and honestly, he is always played in Korea. He is better right now. The Trinity Force build, especially with the Blade the Ruined King, is really taken off with Fervor, but it doesn't really fit this video that well. Kalista is actually back finally, especially at higher ranks. Like, she's dominating Diamond Plus Korean solo queue at the moment. Funnily enough, she has a really good early game, which we kind of expect. Kind of a bad mid game though, but then an insane late game again. Normally, that's not how she works. Like, not in the past anyway, but we have the early game Ren stacks and Fervor and stuff giving her a super strong lane, and then late game I think it's the kiting. It's just way too much to deal with really. Assassins and lethality are falling off a little bit, and that gives Kalista some more breathing room. So like, she needs a bit of time to kill stuff and stack. That doesn't really work when Talon one-shots her. Lulu, or like healing supports, and Ardent Sensor is 100% boosting a win rate over there as well though. Ardent Sensor gives so much. 35% attack speed, right? 35 on hit lifesteal that applies with Runen, so that's 105 per auto if you hit 3 targets on top of a normal lifesteal. That much attack speed, that much healing is absolutely ridiculous. Plus you have the new blade. It's actually probably better for her, like better burst, more AD, more lifesteal, and again that lifesteal applies on all 3 bolts of the runes as well, so you're actually healing for a ton. Fervor is really good on her. You stack your E, you're stacking Fervor at the same time. Your E is a 60% AD ratio as well, so you're adding a lot of damage with just a little bit of AD on the Fervor. I think she's just really good in the lane phase. She's very hard to play against. We have more aggressive lanes now. We have the exhaust nerf, and the whole thing together is making Kalista really good. Matchup wise, it's really Twitch and Draven that she struggles with. Anyone else she can kind of beat in the lane phase, but those 2 she does have a bit of an issue with. Like, you can't really auto trade with Draven and stack your rend. Moving on to Fizz then, he's jumped up a bit after the changes to him, but also like lethality being worse, more mages coming back as well. AD Assassins not being as strong means Fizz can just survive the lane a bit more, and also like immobile mages make for pretty easy kills. You do a ton of damage and a lot of burst, but you kind of build defensive and utility actually. It's all about that sweet one-shot though. Abyssal Rush is the most common over there, and it's super good at the moment. Then Lichbane and Zhonya's afterwards. Abyssal makes it really hard for mages to kill you. It also increases your damage and penetration, so it's not too normal here, here, but it's the best over there, even though they're playing with a lot of different builds, to be honest. Roaming has got to come into it. You have high base damage. You're kind of similar to a Katarina, basically, I think. There's not really too much to say, honestly. You guys all know how a Talon or a Zed works, but he's an AP version instead. He preys on weaker laners, gets ahead, then tries a snowball. Matchup-wise, Talon, Zed, Echo, so other assassins basically give him a bit of trouble, but he's stomping Ryze like Katarina, Orianna, Victor, Lux and stuff. These low health, no escape mages who can't dodge your fish, basically. So the best AD carry by far right now over in Korea is Twitch. He loves the new Fervor buffs, and Blade is just a bonus as well. Blade into Runins is doing really well actually over there, like, but so is your standard triple crit build. Like, Blade first is more of an assassin style again. It gives you that spike as soon as you build it right then after one item, but it isn't quite as strong at 3 items. It is more lifesteal though, so it's a bit easier. Runin's Infinity Edge and another crit item is by far the most popular though. It just means he's a team fight beast. Like, Warlords, it makes it even better. It's really good on him late game. Fervor is better in my opinion for now though. Like, you stack your poison with auto attacks anyway, and that stacks up further, which boosts your E damage when you use it. The reason he's number 1 in Korea though is because of his mid and late game. Like, early you can do a decent amount, but if you get to the later stages of a game, it becomes super easy. You stealth, you pop out far away, and you just ultimate everybody. Your roaming helps a lot as well. Like, seeing as your late game is so good, right? If you roam, you surprise gank, you pick up a few kills here and there, get some gold. Like, you get that late game build sooner, which means you're even more deadly. Twitch is beating everybody right now except Draven. Draven in Korea rushes a Bloodthirster, by the way, and just has way too much damage and healing to deal with. You can't really auto trade with him and stack anything against him. Kled has been one of these champions we've seen pop up and go back down, I guess, recently, even in the LCS actually, but basically because Fervor is better now, it works so well on him, he's become really strong. It's also just matchup wise actually. He kind of sucks versus tanks, but thankfully they're kind of going away now, but he's so good versus carry champions. You do way too much damage for them, so you can kill them, you have some crowd control to catch them, and also your weird lizard that lets you absorb their damage. Black Cleaver and Titanic are the core first 2 items. Also, like, a little synergy between Black Cleaver and Fervor. As your Black Cleaver is stacking the armor reduction, your Fervor is building up as well. You can get a GA after that to dive in a bit more. Sterix for more damage, which is really strong. Randuins and Deadmans as well, just to shut down an AD opponent. Ninja Tabby is going to make everything so much worse playing against him. He's difficult to play against anyway, but it's like that unknown factor as well, where people aren't really sure of his damage or like how to beat him yet. Plus, to be honest, his ultimate is an amazing roam tool, so you can actually have a lot of cross-map impact. It's kind of like the damage version of San actually. Matchup-wise, Fiora is really the only carry champion that can beat him right now. Like, he smashes Riven, Rumble, Darius, even Renekton surprisingly as well. Now, the surprise pick for this patch in this video is going to be Akali. She's good top as normal, but even better mid for some reason. It's probably partly to do with assassins falling off more, like the same with Fizz, right? You want someone you can jump on and ruin. Getting a Gunblade and Zhonya's every single game is the core over there. So Gunblade is crazy healing, which early makes you a pain in the ass to deal with. Like, as long as you can attack, you can heal and survive. You have these Zhonyas to avoid stuff and wait for cooldowns, and it changes a lot actually. Like, Guardian Angel or Visage are pretty popular, which makes some sense considering you're against AP mids who often can burst you. Deathcap is the damage alternative. The exhaust nerf this patch must have helped a lot actually, combined with lethality being worse than before, but she does seem kind of like a bronze champion, right? You dive in, you burst, you one shot, but she does the same job as a Katarina though. Also, to make the point, like, her reworked Shroud just makes her better late game too, which is a massive deal. That used to be her downside. She used to be dog poo late game, but really good early, so you'd have the kind of trade-off, but now you can actually go invisible, you bait stuff out, you survive, and you catch people. When you're playing her mid, Talon is probably your biggest pain along with Ahri actually, but apart from that, she's taking a dump on everybody. Like, there's too much damage early, good roaming, and still a good team fight. Moving on to the support role, Soraka is becoming one of the most popular supports, but also just jumped up in win rate this patch, and this is what I mean by the Ardent Sensor meta. Normally, you'd get a Redemption Locket as your first 2 or 3 items right on Soraka. Even just having a Redemption completed in your inventory means you win almost 60% of the time in Korea. Getting a Locket after that is still 60% of the time you win, but if you get to an Ardent Sensor after that though, 65% of the time you're going to win that game. That is ridiculously high for one item. A lot of this isn't just Soraka, it's like we have crit and auto base AD carries coming back big time, so that means healers are really strong, Sensor is stronger, like we have someone who needs protecting more, if that makes sense. Also, a quick thing on Ruby Sightstone, it reduces the cooldown of active items by 20%. It's really good with the Redemption and Locket if you're building both. Honestly, I would have thought that she'd kind of fall off a little bit with the exhaust nerfs, but apparently not. Like, she seems to be doing fine, even if aggressive supports are a bit of a pain to deal with, especially with Ignite. We can kind of see this with the matchups though, like she struggles versus Blitzcrank and Thresh and Leona, but she beats almost everybody else. Like, others will find it hard to focus her, and you can't really out-heal a Soraka either, let's be honest. Now finally, I want to talk about Kog'Maw because it's very different to how we do things with him, but he's gotten a lot better in Korea this patch. patch. Fervor and Warlords are basically as good as each other over there, even though we normally run Storm Raiders. Storm Raiders is really good because you're going to be chunking people for a lot of their health very quickly, and then you run around like a madman. You're basically impossible to catch. Warlord's lifesteal later into the game though is really solid. It helps you kite more, and Fervor can add a lot of damage, ramping damage as well actually, like especially considering we attack so fast to stack it. Builds vary a lot, but Rage Blade Rush is the most common right now, not Blade or Runes or anything like that. It's Rage Blade into other stuff. Speaking of the Blade of the Rune King though, that change was probably a good thing for him in this sort of build. When we have a Rage Blade and Runes, you can't really kite with that much attack speed anyway, so having less on a blade doesn't really matter, but we get like more lifesteal, a bit more burst damage, and remember lifesteal applies on all three of the Runes bolts. Trinity Force is actually also seen a bit more this patch, like Blade after that into Runes as well. This is way more bursty, and especially with Fervor it can catch a lot of people off guard, to be honest. You do definitely want to pair him with a Soraka, a Lulu, a Sona if you're going to do this though. That is what Korea does, and right now he's sitting at an insane win rate overall. In the lane phase though, Caitlyn can be a bit too hard to deal with early along with Twitch and Draven, but apart from those, like you should be pretty set in the game. You just need to survive and get to mid game. That is when you really take over. Like you get your first item, maybe 2 items, and suddenly you're going to do an absolute insane amount of damage. So hopefully you guys found this interesting and a nice little look into the meta over in Korea. Thank you for watching until the very end. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, but for now, let's go to the Roblox.